I'm going to go look at Stargate next to Abilene, Texas. It is the first of this massive wave of larger than gigawatt data centers. There's a whole list I could go through. I have a list of them. And these data centers have entirely new needs around power demand, around how they handle things like liquid cooling. How basically everything is shifting, Austin, right? And Satya Nadella was recently on a podcast with Dwarkesh, which is a large AI podcast listened to a lot of people. And Satya had said basically the reason they had backed off last year, they were too afraid of getting stuck with too much capacity from one generation, because every generation is going to change so much from the last. Every time you build a new generation, it has entirely new needs around this NVIDIA roadmap. And I believe right now we are potentially getting a really golden opportunity in that we are having this massive build out that's going on today of these data centers with new needs. And there are names getting sold off that have the most, sterling opportunities headed forward. So I know it's going to sound insane. I know people are listening to this like, how is he excited at a moment like today? I am very excited because I see these companies, I see the growth. It's all shovels in ground. And if the companies who are most aligned with are selling off, there's going to be a lot of money to be made. So this is what I'm talking about, the indiscriminate selling versus is it purely rational? I see a lot of indiscriminate, and I think people are really underestimating, Amazon's earnings are a sign of what's to come. Oh my God, I just hit a lamp here. Amazon's earnings are a sign of the growth rates we're about to see. And that's where you can see the narrative flip, where it's yes, there might be some increasing risk in a lot of these neocloud companies, but the story is the massive hyperscalers that are still 80%. And the growth rates they're about to put up this year appear to be prodigious, well above expectations.
One of the sort of indiscriminate sell-offs that I'm seeing is in interconnects, and the analogy that I'll draw in my mind, or maybe an analogy that's useful for investors to conceptualize this, is there's a transition here in technology types, right? And you've talked about this. We're transitioning from copper to light in terms of data transmission in the as you build out these data centers. And I know it's not a perfect analogy, but if you want to understand what this could look like, imagine the transition from internal combustion engines to EVs a little bit, right? It's this new technology. It takes a while to get this thing ramped. But if you had bought Tesla 10 years ago, you're really happy, right? If you had bought the leader in this new technology, you did great. But all along the way, there were sort of doubters, and every sell-off looked like the technology was never going to make it. It was going to fail.